You ever watched a horror movie and thought, these people are stupid, I could easily survive this? Well, think again, because today we're diving into the world of horror villains so horrifying, so unstoppable that even you won't be able to survive them. And don't be that one guy that comments, nah, not me though. Because by the end of this video, you will see that there's no way you are surviving these horror villains. But if you want a better chance of surviving them, here's a friendly tip. Hit the like and subscribe button, because if you don't, they're gonna be at your door tonight. That is not a threat, that's a promise. First up, let's talk about Art the Clown. A name that sounds harmless until you realize this mime makes Pennywise look like party entertainment. Art is from the Terrifier series, and believe me, he's not here to make you balloon animals. He might make your intestines into balloon animals, but who knows? So who is Art the Clown? Picture a clown dressed in black and white, face painted a ghastly white, and a smile that says, run while you still can. Oh, and did I mention that he's completely silent? He doesn't speak at all. Nothing screams terror like a clown who doesn't scream at you. Art first came into our nightmares in the 2013 film All Hallows Eve, before getting his own spotlight in the Terrifier franchise. He lurks the streets on Halloween night, but instead of collecting candy, he's more into collecting other things. With superhuman strength and an uncanny ability to survive just about anything, he's less of a man and more of a supernatural phenomenon. So let's get to the burning question. Why wouldn't you survive an encounter with Art? Well, for starters, he can teleport. Yes, you heard that right. You think you've lost him in a dark alley? Think again, he's probably already waiting for you around the next corner. And his silence, it means you'll never even hear him coming until it's too late. Art's unpredictability is another fatal flaw in your survival plan. He doesn't follow the usual horror villain handbook. One moment he's toying with his victims, the next he's unleashed a level of brutality that's off the charts. This clown does not play by the rules. In fact, in the first Terrifier movie, he seems like the type of killer who likes knives, blunt objects, and other sorts of things like that to do his business, until it looks like one of the main characters is about to beat him. That's when he pulls out a fucking gun. In normal horror movies, usually a killer sticks to their weapon of choice. Not Art. Nothing is off the table for him. Trying to outsmart him is like playing a chess with a grandmaster. You won't win. And the stakes are a tad higher than bragging rights this time though. But let's not forget his superhuman strength. This isn't your average circus clown. Art can tear limbs off like he's pulling apart a rotisserie chicken. Overpowering him physically? It's not gonna happen. And weapons? He's got a whole arsenal, favoring anything with a sharp edge. Your best bet? Well, there isn't one. Oh, and if you think you're hiding, remember that creativity I mentioned? Art's got a knack for turning the mundane into the macabre. He's extraordinarily inventive in his methods, and let's just say he doesn't believe in a quick and painless demise. The more you resist, the more elaborate your end becomes. So, do you think you could take Art down? If a teleporting, super strong, sadistic clown doesn't faze you, well, you might be the bravest person alive, or the next name on his list. But if you think a silent teleporting clown is bad news, buckle up because we're diving into the twisted mind of a man who doesn't need superpowers to kill you. Meet John Kramer, better known as Jigsaw, the engineer of your worst nightmares and moral dilemmas you didn't know you had. Jigsaw isn't your run-of-the-mill horror villain. No supernatural abilities, no masks made of human skin, just a terminally ill man with a knack for engineering and a seriously warped sense of justice. John Kramer took a turn for the worst after a series of personal tragedies, including a cancer diagnosis and the loss of his unborn child. Instead of, seeking therapy, he decided to test people's will to live by placing them in elaborate death traps. Men will do anything but go to therapy, it seems. Because that's a normal coping mechanism. So why wouldn't you survive an encounter with Mr. Kramer? Well, let's get one thing straight. If you're on Jigsaw's radar, you're already in deep trouble. He doesn't pick his subjects at random. Nope, he zeroes in on those he deems unappreciative of their lives. And let's be honest, haven't we all hit snooze one too many times on opportunities in our life? But Jigsaw's traps aren't your average mouse traps. They're meticulously planned Ruby Goldberg nightmares designed to make you confront your darkest secrets. Think you can just hack your way out of them? Good luck. Each device is tailor-made to you, capitalizing on your fears and worst traits. It's like he read your diary, consulted your exes, and then weaponized that information. Escape, while theoretically possible, comes at a steep price. Success often means maiming yourself or making a choice that would haunt you forever. Lose a limb, sacrifice a friend, small stuff like that. And even if you do crawl out of one of his games, you're not off the hook. Jigsaw has a network of apprentices who are just as twisted and infinitely patient. They'll be watching, waiting for you to slip up, one wrong move, and you're back at square one. Or worse. Imagine waking up in a small room. The smell of rust and fear thicken the air. A creepy puppet rolls in on a tricycle and delivers the message, "I want to play a game." Spoiler alert, it's not f***ing Monopoly. The rules are simple yet horrifyingly complex, designed to break you physically and mentally. The clock is ticking, and every second brings you closer to an end you can't predict. But here's the kicker. Jigsaw doesn't see himself as a villain. In his mind, he's offering you a chance at redemption, a renewed appreciation for your life. All you have to do is survive his twisted obstacle course of doom. No biggie, right? Now, if you're psychotic, you might be saying to yourself right now, "Nah, not me. I would easily get through the Saw movies." Well, consider this. Jigsaw anticipates your every move. He's 3 steps ahead, having planned for every possible escape route you might consider. And let's not ignore the moral dilemma you're tossed into. Jigsaw loves a good ethical dilemma, forcing you to make choices that pit your survival against your conscience. It's a lose-lose situation, and he is fully aware of that. So unless you're a saint with nerves of steel and a genius-level IQ, the odds aren't in your favor. So next time you think about cutting corners or screwing over a friend of yours or even keeping secrets tucked away, just remember, Jigsaw is watching. And trust me, you don't want to play a game of Monopoly with him. But if you thought you could survive Saw, wait until you can't even trust the very people around you, or even yourself. That's why we gotta talk about The Thing. The Thing is an extraterrestrial nightmare that crash-landed into our imaginations via John Carpenter's 1982 classic. Forget cute little green Martians, this shape-shifting parasite is more interested in turning your life into a real-world game of Among Us. And spoiler alert, everyone becomes the imposter. So what makes The Thing so uniquely terrifying? For starters, it's not just another alien out to zap us with laser beams. No, it's far more evil. The Thing assimilates any living organism it touches, perfectly mimicking its appearance, memories, and behaviors. But you're probably saying to yourself right now, "Nah, not me, I'd survive." Well, let's break down why you wouldn't. First, The Thing's ability to imitate anyone or anything makes it impossible to know who to trust. Your best friend, your spouse, even your pet goldfish Goldie could be The Thing in disguise. It's like playing hide and seek, except the seeker wants to absorb you, and hiding is futile because The Thing might already be you. Second, the assimilation process is alarmingly rapid and, shall we say, comprehensive. You could be infected before you even finish reading this sentence. One moment you're sipping coffee, the next you're part of an alien hive mind bent on world domination. Not exactly how you'd plan your day out, is it? Third, trying to eliminate The Thing is like playing whack-a-mole on expert mode. Chop off a tentacle? Congratulations, you've just created a new, fully autonomous nightmare. Each severed part can act independently, meaning your attempts to destroy it might only multiply your problems literally. But let's say you're feeling optimistic. You arm yourself with a flamethrower because, as the movie shows, fire seems to do the trick. Great, except that requires you to first identify The Thing among a group of terrified, paranoid individuals. Good luck conducting a calm and orderly investigation when everyone's side-eyeing each other like contestants on a reality show gone wrong. And let's not overlook the psychological torment. Paranoia becomes your constant companion. Who can you trust? Can you even trust yourself? The stress alone could be your undoing before The Thing even makes its move. It's like me in my dating life. Everyone's out to get me. For legal reasons, that's a joke. So unless you've got a foolproof method for detecting alien parasites and a global network to implement mass screenings, which judging by recent events seems unlikely, surviving The Thing is a long shot at best. But if you're sitting there still thinking, "Nah, I'd win," let me tell you about a corrupt secret society that will make your vacations a nightmare. Welcome to the dark underbelly of travel nightmares, the Hostel organization. Unlike our previous foes, this isn't some supernatural entity or a lone madman with a flair for the dramatic. Nope, this is a well-oiled machine run by the world's elite who have, shall we say, unconventional hobbies. So, who are these people? Imagine a secret society where the wealthiest individuals bid tons of money for the privilege to, let's just say it's not the kind of experience you'd find on a TripAdvisor. They operate globally, luring unsuspecting tourists into seemingly ordinary hostels. The promise? affordable lodging, and maybe a chance to meet fellow adventurers. The reality: a one-way ticket into the organization's dungeon. Now, why wouldn't you survive an encounter with these fine rich folk? Let's start with the obvious. Unless you're hiding a $1 billion inheritance, you're not exactly in their tax bracket. And in this twisted game, money talks, especially when it's used to silence anyone who poses a threat. First off, the organization's reach is nothing short of terrifying. They're not just in one country or even in one continent, they're everywhere. They've got scouts, informants, and probably a friendly receptionist who's offering you a discount for paying in cash. Their tactics are also disturbingly effective. Victims are carefully selected, watched for weeks, even months, to ensure they'll disappear without too many questions asked. Once targeted, you're drugged before you can say room service, waking up in a place where the term all-inclusive takes on a horrifying new meaning. So, if you don't have a ton of friends and nobody is interested in your social life, you're the #1 target. But let's just say you're resourceful. Maybe you've seen a few action movies, know a bit of self-defense. Admiral, but remember, you're up against clients who pay top dollar for the experience. These aren't amateurs. They're people who can afford the best and most secure facilities to ensure nothing interrupts their little adventure. Escape? Highly unlikely when you're locked in a fortress designed to keep you in and the authorities out. Speaking of authorities, don't count on them for help. The Hostel organization has deep pockets and deeper connections, just like every government today. Bribes, blackmail, and influence mean local law enforcement might be inclined to look the other way, or worse, deliver you right back into their hands. It's a matter of time before they reel you back in. But if you think the scariest thing out there is a secret society of billionaires, well, that's cute, because let's take a detour into Cannibal City in Texas. It's time to go have dinner with a family of cannibals. One of them likes chainsaws. This is Leatherface, and he's proof that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones without supernatural powers. He doesn't need to teleport or play mind games. Nope, he's all about brute force, a relentless pursuit, and a roaring chainsaw that he loves quite dearly. So who is this charming, handsome fellow? Leatherface, or Jedediah Sawyer if you're feeling formal, is the not-so-gentle giant from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Part of a cannibalistic family with a flair for interior design. You know, if bones and skin are your aesthetic. He's a mentally impaired individual who expresses himself with the only way he knows how, through terrifying masks made of human skin, and of course, his favorite power tool. Now you might think, he's just one guy. I could survive this, right? How can it be that hard to avoid him? Well, let's delve into why crossing paths with Leatherface is a one-way ticket to nowhere good. First off, Leatherface is built like a linebacker who ate another linebacker. His immense physical strength makes any notion of overpowering him laughable at best. Trying to wrestle the chainsaw from his hands, you might as well challenge a grizzly bear to a dance-off. But maybe you're saying to yourself, nah, I'm a fast runner, I'm nimble. Well, that brings us to our next hurdle. Location, location, location. Leatherface operates in the most remote areas imaginable. Places where GPS signals go to die and roadside assistance is a myth. The labyrinth rural settings are his home turf, and he knows every nook, cranny, and hidden shortcut. You're not just running from him, you're navigating his personal, dark, twisted playground. But maybe you're feeling resourceful. Perhaps you think hiding is the way to go. Unfortunately, Leatherface isn't a solo act. His family's got his back. Quite literally. The Sawyer family is a tight-knit group of cannibals who are just as twisted and unhinged. While you're busy dodging Leatherface, you might stumble into Grandpa or Hitchhiker. And trust me, they're not there to offer sweet tea and crumpets. Now, let's address the wildcard factor. Leatherface's mental state. He's unpredictable, operating on a logic that defies reason. You can't negotiate or plead your way out of this one. Compassion, mercy, a moment of hesitation, they're not in his repertoire. His motivations are as opaque as the mask he wears, adding another layer of terror because you can never anticipate his next move. So, could you escape Leatherface? Statistically speaking, your chances are not great. Unlike other horror villains, there's no ancient curse to break or puzzle to solve. The terror is raw and immediate. It's fight or flight, and given his advantages, neither option bodes well for you. But if you're delusional, you might still be saying to yourself, nah, it's just a dude with a chainsaw, I can run faster than him. Well, let's dive into a curse that doesn't care about any of your survival skills, or your escape plans, or even how fast you can run. In fact, all it takes is a single watching of this videotape and you are effed. Meet Samara Morgan, the pale-faced girl with a stringy black hairdo that's never seen a comb. Don't let her age fool you, this is no ordinary child. Samara is the vengeful spirit at the heart of the Ring series, and she's got a home movie she'd love for you to watch. It's not a rom-com. You might think you're safe as long as you steer clear, but here's the kicker. If you even know about Samara existing, chances are it's already too late. Curiosity might not kill the cat, but it will definitely punch your ticket when it comes to this cursed videotape. So what's the big deal about a grainy VHS tape? Well, watching it grants you a 7-day grace period before Samara decides to make a personal house call. And trust me, she's not dropping by for tea and cookies. Once the static of the video fades and the eerie images crawl across your screen, the countdown begins. There's no pausing, rewinding, or deleting this nightmare. Now you might think there's a loophole, some clever hack to dodge the inevitable. The legend says if you make a copy of the tape and convince someone else to watch it, you can pass the curse along like a twisted game of hot potato. Sounds simple, right? Here's the catch. You have to ensure the other person watches your copy, and good luck living with the guilt of dooming someone else. And let's not talk about those 7 days. They're not exactly a vacation. Samara has a way of making her presence known. Subtly at first, flicker of the TV, a random voicemail with nothing but static. But as the days tick down, the hauntings escalate. Sleep becomes a luxury as nightmares bleed into reality. By day 6, you're questioning your sanity, jumping at shadows, and probably regretting every life choice that led you here. But wait, it gets even better. Samara has a unique talent for technopathic shenanigans. What does that mean? She can manipulate electronics, appearing on screens whether they're on or off. Oh, you're gonna try unplugging your TV? That's cute. She'll just crawl out of your smartphone instead. What about physical resistance? Well, forget about it. You can't punt a ghost back into the well she crawled out of. Samara transcends the usual limitations of our normal world. Bullets, running away, barricading yourself in a room are all useless. Imagine this, it's day 7. You're huddled in a corner, every light in the house is on, surrounded by a futile ring of salt you've read about on some internet forum. The clock strikes midnight and the TV turns on by itself. Static fills the screen and she begins to emerge, small hand gripping the edge of the well, followed by that mop of hair covering her face. Now after watching this, you might still be saying to yourself, nah, I'd be able to survive all of these horror movies. Well, I'd like to invite you to the comments section to tell me why you would survive, because I think you're wrong. But if you really think you could survive, like this video and subscribe, because I'll be making another video just like this about analog horror entities that you definitely won't be able to survive. If you want to see more movies if you want to see me talk about more horror movies that are just as scary as these ones, click the video on screen right now.